So you've wrecked your oxygen sensor, or Lambda probe, or O2 sensor, or Lambda sensor. They all mean the same thing. In today's video, guys, what we're going to do is fit a new Lambda probe because I snapped this one if you watched the last video. We're going to fit a new one to this bike and give you an understanding of what the sensor actually does in your motorcycle or actually in your car or any vehicle that's fitted with one or two or maybe even three. So I'm Dino, this is Patrick's Repair Shop, this is my Triumph. Let's crack on, shall we? So we're going to replace the broken oxygen sensor in this Triumph Daytona 675. This is an 09 plate, as you know, if you've been watching, guys. I'll stick the full playlist to this Triumph in the description below so you can have a look. But we snapped, or we didn't, I snapped this one because I got a little bit careless and I thought it was going to come out and it didn't. So it snapped, it's no good. So we're going to fit this new one. And before we fit the new one, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to explain to you guys what this oxygen sensor actually does. And the process is the same in your motorcycle, whether it be a Triumph Daytona or another make and model, or even in your car. So this oxygen sensor, also known as a Lambda sensor or a Lambda probe or an O2 sensor, they all mean exactly the same thing. They're often found in more modern vehicles, or not that modern anymore, but they weren't around when I first started. That's more about my age than anything else, isn't it? Anyway, so it basically monitors the amount of oxygen in the exhaust gases, which is then measured by or monitored by the engine's ECU to adjust the air and fuel ratio. Okay, and it's measuring this after combustion. Okay, so we're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but I'm sure that you guys all understand that exhaust gases are produced after the four-stroke cycle has been completed, or they are the last step in the four-stroke cycle. Let's not go down that rabbit hole yet, okay? So the primary function of this oxygen sensor is to measure the amount of oxygen present in the exhaust stream after combustion, i.e. the exhaust gases coming down these header pipes and passing through this Lambda sensor or oxygen sensor, okay? Now, my ideal ratio of air and fuel is 14.7 to 1. In most internal combustion engines, petrol that is in this case, okay, so a petrol gasoline engine, so that would be 14.7 parts air to 1 part fuel. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So 14.7 to 1. So what's going to happen is the exhaust gases are going to pass through this oxygen sensor, and it is going to determine if the air-fuel mixture is too rich or too lean, and then it's going to send a voltage signal back to the engine ECU, and the engine ECU will adjust the ratio of air to fuel accordingly. Okay, now in this example, this is a pre-cat sensor, which means it's fitted down here, see my finger, before my catalytic converter, which is there. Okay, so when it is located before the catalytic converter, this is going to help the engine regulate the fuel supply or air and fuel ratio to the engine. Now, I don't have a post-cat sensor on this particular bike or engine, whatever way you want to look at it. But that, if you've got one that's post, that would be fitted after the catalytic converter, okay? And this would then monitor the catalytic converter's efficiency, okay? So the oxygen molecules in the exhaust gases are going to pass through this oxygen sensor, okay, and cause a voltage difference between the exhaust gas and a reference air chamber. And then the voltage signal is sent back to the ECU. A higher voltage would indicate a rich mixture, and a lower voltage would indicate a lean mixture. Okay, so a rich mixture is going to be more fuel, and a lean mixture is going to be that there is more oxygen. Okay, so something would then be adjusted with that 14.7 to 1 air to fuel ratio. Okay, so after that, the voltage signal is going to come back to the engine ECU, and then the engine ECU is going to constantly adjust the fuel injection system based on the voltage signal that the oxygen sensor is sending back. I hope that that makes some form of sense. Now, let's get this one fitted. So there it is there with the cover off, guys. We've got some grease on the thread. So we're going to pop this in. Would have been easy to do this with on the bench, but actually it's not too bad. It's going straight in. So while I'm tightening this up, guys, it's probably important to understand that an oxygen sensor or a Lambda probe fault on an internal combustion engine is probably quite a common fault. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that the oxygen sensor is at fault. Okay, it could be seeing something way out of tolerance that it's expecting to see, and your diagnostic equipment will lead you, unfortunately, down the garden path, because sometimes they're good like that. Yeah. So if you've got something else wrong with the engine that is affecting the air and fuel ratio, let's tighten that up. That may present itself on a diagnostic machine as a oxygen sensor or Lambda probe or Lambda sensor fault. Okay, so bear that one in mind, guys, if you ever come across this. So apologies if I just put my arm and armpit across the camera there, but that's our new oxygen sensor fitted. We've now got to plug it into wherever the piece of loom on the bike has disappeared to. So let me find that. So let's start off with kind of where we left off on the last video, which is actually fitting this new Arrow exhaust system to this Triumph before we broke the oxygen sensor and mucked around with the header pipes and all the rest of it. So got a new gasket on the end. Better make sure that the clamp's on first, hadn't I? That would be a wise move. Yeah, hopefully that's better. So we've got to get these two brackets, one's for this cover and one's for the exhaust over this bush. Well, that turned out to be a bit of a mare, but it's on. The bolt's through this bracket. Clamp's tightened up on the link pipe. So we've just got this one to do up here. Now we can get the rear end back on. Happy days. So how does this go? Like that. And then we need the plug for the rear light, which is somewhere hidden under here. Happy days. We can pop our rear hump back on. or not. Rear brake light loom wants to be under the frame, subframe. That's a lot better. So the loom was across the top of the subframe. The rear hump wasn't sitting down properly, and it would crush the loom. Splendid. That's a lot better. And then we got the little hidden 5mm Allen key, which, come on, there we go. You just lift the lip of the rear hump, the sort of material part where the foam is, and there's a little 5mm Allen key. That's that on. Right, so that's the Arrow exhaust system fitted, guys, with the original heat shield, because I don't want my bum getting hot. I am going to change the indicators so these cable ties can come out for a minute, because they are not needed. So I'm going to whack some new indicators on it at some point. Good. Oh, I forgot we've got to do the radiator first. Antifreeze time. This time antifreeze with colour. Keep somebody happy. You know who you are. Got the bleed nipple open on the other side. Always my least favourite job, or one of them. So, indicators. And then there's a bracket inside that you guys can't see that fits over a grommet and a little post on the fairing. Keep the electrics nice and neat. There we go. Right, this side's just a little bit more fiddly because of all of the regulator and rectifier. A few more pluggy plugs. Splendid. Right, got some awkward clips underneath these ones, plastic ones. I'll do that off camera because they're awkward. And then hopefully we can run it up and see what this exhaust sounds like, and hope and pray that we haven't got any blows. Right, let's have a look. I've given in, can't find these tank bolts. I've got two new stainless ones, but they're not the socket head ones that they should be. I've been trying to find some, looking on the parts diagrams. I'm sure I'll come across some, because they had that like matte look to them. That'll do for a minute, and they're stainless. Right. Let's get some fuel in it. It was a bit sticky. That needs some oil. Don't know how well the microphone picked that up, guys, but yeah, it sounds all right. Little bit of an exhaust blow from that lower link pipe gasket. That is not a genuine Triumph gasket and clearly needs to be, so a little bit frustrated about that. But I'll get a new gasket on order. Sounds all right, it's running all right. Got an engine management light on, need to get that out. So if you've got any recommendations about code readers for bikes, I'd be really interested to hear that in the comments. What we're going to do next week? Next week we're going to do a little job to finish off the Ducati behind me, and then we're going to valet both these bikes. Hopefully we'll get an exhaust gasket in time as well, and we'll put that in one video next week. So if you made it this far, guys, thank you so much. Smash that subscribe button. Can't get my words out. Smash that subscribe button. It's completely free of charge. I'm Dino. Oh, don't forget to hit like and comment and all that good stuff. I'm Dino, Patches Repair Shop. This is my Triumph. I'll catch you guys next week.